Hello, everyone. We are live. We are fashionably late with the horror hunks tonight.
Yes.
We have Roubique. That's what I'm going to call him because we have two Camerons in the house tonight. We have LJ, Robbie, and Chaney. If you guys don't know who these guys are, there's something wrong with you. And you should know who they are, and you should read all of their work. I will give them each a second here to introduce themselves and their work in a moment. But before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to Kelly from Kelly Hooked on Books, because she was the one that kind of really instigated to get this group all together, and she couldn't make it tonight, but we're thinking of her for sure. All right, Roubique, you're on. Why don't you introduce yourself and your work?
I'm Cameron Roubique. I write like 80s slasher books. I wrote The Kill Rivers and Disco Deathtrap and Golf Curse. And and I paint spooky eyeball scale 80s style covers. I painted Cameron's book covers, and I painted Robbie's book cover and some other book covers too. And yeah, so that's what I do.
He's very talented. If you like slashers, 80s slasher, definitely read his work. How about you, LJ?
I'm LJ at Dougherty, so I've written one novel so far, Beasts of the Caliber Lodge. It's pulpy 60s Sasquatch horror, Nazi hunters, and working on a follow-up to it. And like this series, if it becomes a series anyway, like is the best way to kind of describe it as maybe like espionage horror. So kind of Ian Fleming meets Michael Crichton, I guess. It's the best way to look at it.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. It's really good. It's really good. All right, moving on. We'll jump down to Robbie.
Hey guys, Robbie Myles here. Nichi is holding up my book right now, my first book. It's titled Don't Call It All. And it's a middle grade fiction, horror fiction, similar in the same vein and mold as a Goosebumps story. It's my first book. And I can't believe that I'm here. I'm such a big fan of all you guys. So to be here, with you guys is just such a treat. Nichi, you're included in that as well. Big fan.
Oh, yay.
Thank you guys for having me here. So that's my book, Don't Call It All. And that's what's going on. And I do have many more things in the works. And Mr. Roubique right here, as you mentioned, did my cover as well.
Mm-hmm. Very, very cool. All right. Cameron, Chaney.
Hey guys, I'm Cameron Chaney, host of Library Macabre on YouTube. I review horror books, make horror content. I am also the author of Autumn Crow, which is the book Nichi's holding up right now. Little Halloween short story collection. And I've got a couple more things in the works. Autumn Crow High, which is the first book in a new series, is going to be coming out later on this year.
Ooh, I'm excited for that.
Me too.
You also have a piece in Local Haunts?
I do. A couple short story collections. I have a story in Other Voices, Other Tombs.
That's the one I don't own myself. One day I gotta get my hands on that one. Yeah, no, absolutely. I've heard the stories are fantastic, and of course, when I love an author's work, I have to get anything that they are a part of, even if they're an anthology or anything. You got to get your hands on it so you have it on your shelf ready to go for sure. I'm going to just pop up everyone that's in the chat for you guys. So we have Jay Maddox here. We've got Linda's World of Books here. We've got M's Book Nook. We've got James Fetchco. Jay is telling me there's something wrong with me. That's right. There is. Absolutely.
What's up, guys?
We have Fiverr Artsy here as well. Iron Rain of Books. You guys have a bunch of people popping in. So anyone in the chat, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in and I'll pop them up on the screen so they can answer. M does say, Don't Call It All would be a perfect read aloud for my homeschool fam. Yes, it is a good one. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah, I have to say, adults tell me all the time they enjoyed the book, but I think kids are just really enjoying it. I think, Cameron, you hit this point home a couple of weeks ago when you did your Goosebumps, similar type video on your channel, Library Macabre. You mentioned like the goopiness and something about the goopiness and the body horror. And, kids are really responding well to it, and they're really enjoying that part of it. And it's really, it's being well received by children. So I think you make a good point. Who was it in the chat?
M.
Yeah. So I think I think a nice family read aloud would be perfect for your young ones. For sure.
It feels exactly like an old Goosebumps book. I remember when I read it, I was like, man, this is like the closest thing I've ever read that comes to the classic Goosebumps.
Yeah.
And it's weird because like I kind of have this thing where I get annoyed when I read stories about like new technology like cell phones and stuff, but don't call it out. It just works though. Like it works really well. It's actually genuinely creepy and it like doesn't feel like out of place, you know? Like I don't know. I thought it just worked perfect. Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And the covers are right too.
It is. Well,
I'm really excited to get it on the bookmobile. We're not on the road yet with the bookmobile, but once we are, I want to get it on there and see how kids respond because kids like gross stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, and like people send me pictures all the time, and like I'm still blown away that I'm here talking about my own book, but like it's people send me pictures, their kids really enjoying it, and it's a wild ride, man. So it's a lot of fun. So thank you, Cameron, and everyone for the kind words.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, man. Yeah,
it's really exciting.
I do hope you read it and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to make her read it, and then we'll have to gush all about it because I know I really enjoyed it, and my oldest really enjoyed it, and I think he could really relate to it because I'm one of those moms that doesn't let him have a cell phone when everyone else has a cell phone. So
there you go. It's really I don't want to get too in depth, but like in its essence, and Cameron Roubique hit on it. It started out being alone, feeling left out, feeling isolated, and a lot of the Goosebumps books, a lot of books that I read as a kid had that same trope, that same theme. So that's what I tried to hit on, but.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have Spooky, aka Nick, that's popped in here. M says that they do love dark and twisty, which is exciting, and because kids are gross.
Definitely.
They are. They also really like to be scared.
Get it.
Kelly's here. Kelly, that's okay.
KHOB.
We made sure we gave you a shout out at the beginning. You'll have to go back and see that after the fact. Oh, sorry. Iron says same new tech in other books is like over the top and just in your face, but don't call it all. It was great. Yes,
totally agree.
It was.
Totally agree.
We've got Dana that's popped in here. Perfect. So I'm going to ask you guys probably the most basic question. You probably hear it over and over and over again, and you're sick of answering it, but here we go anyways. What steered you to write dark fiction, horror, all of that good, gruesome, dark stuff? Cameron Roubique, do you want to go first? We'll just go.
Sure. Yeah. Let's see. I've just always wanted to be a writer. I've been writing little things since I was like 9 years old. So my dad was always reading, and he was always reading like Stephen King books, back in back in his like horror days when it was just like Needful Things and all that stuff was coming. I remember my dad reading those and like, I just always, and I grew up with the Goosebumps. I was like 6 years old when Goosebumps started, and I went and got the first few. I think Monster Blood was the first one I ever got, and like right when it came out. And I always wanted to do. I just wanted to write and be a writer, and it's it's kind of like changed over the years. Like for a while I wanted to be like do like pop punk stuff, and I wanted to do movies, but it's weird how everything kind of came back to writing. And I'm really having I'm able to do a lot more with writing, and I'm able to have a blast with these stories. So yeah.
And we have a blast reading them. Like I said, I don't know if I could wait for another one to come out. I just said I'm going to have to probably go back and reread one of yours for the summer because they are the perfect summertime reads as well.
Oh,
absolutely.
Thanks.
LJ, what about you? What steered you into the horror direction?
Yeah, I think, since I was a kid, like the same as Cameron, like I've always done writing. But for me, as in regards to like horror, like it's all cinema based, right? I read a decent amount, but like most of my love for horror comes from cinema. And like even like as like a young kid watching stuff, I remember watching Creature from the Black Lagoon and all like the classic Universal horror stuff. But even like Gremlins, was huge, and a lot of like the stuff that as I continue to grow up, stuff that like maybe people don't think of right away as horror, but there's a lot of like mixed genre stuff out there, and like mixed genre for me is like really where it's at. That's where I love the most. like the one that I always love to bring up is like Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, right? Because it's got like that horror in there, it's got that comedy in there, and you know that's what I love. I did screenwriting. I still do screenwriting, but screenwriting for quite a while, for years. And ever since I was in high school,
I read those high school scripts.
Yeah, you read everything, right?
Yeah,
good and bad. I made a film about 10 years ago, and been trying to get more made. And that's just a tough industry, mostly just money wise, getting funding and stuff. And Cameron had said for years, like, dude, like you should write a novel, turn this into a novel, turn that one into a novel. And so finally, like I had written Beasts of the Caliber Lodge. It started out as a screenplay, and Cameron's like, dude, like this is the perfect one to do as a novel because it's so big, right? Normally the stuff I wrote screenplay wise was, you know, horror, crime, noir type, like, but stuff I was writing intentionally low budget because I thought like, hey, if I can just get a little bit of money, I can shoot this myself. Beasts of the Caliber Lodge wasn't like that. It was bigger, and maybe like, you know, Spielbergian in a way, like back when, you know, Spielberg was fun. Like in the 90s and stuff, like the 80s. So yeah, I gave it a shot, and it really like expanded from the screenplay to what the novel is now. And yeah, Cameron was for sure the guy who was like, dude, this is the one, like, and kind of gave me that nudge and that push. And yeah, that's where I'm at as far as that goes.
That's exciting. I saw Cameron's post on Instagram. I saw the cover. I read the description, and I was like, what? How have I not heard of this? And that's when I went right away to go find you.
Oh, thanks.
So thank you for sending me a copy to read. Now I got to get my hands on the hardcover copy.
Yeah, thanks for reading. I got that one right here.
Ooh. Yeah, everyone's doing hardcovers
so
now.
Yeah. No, don't change yours, Roubique. Don't do it. I need these like perfect little like pocket size, like typical 80s mass market. They're perfect for my little tiny hands.
The old school mass market size.
Yeah. How about you, Robbie? What steered you into the horror direction?
Oh, first of all, LJ, I just want to tell you, I know I hit you up on Instagram. We spoke a little bit, but I freaking loved Beast, man. It was so awesome. You know, when I heard we were gonna, I had it in my TBR for a little while. And when I heard we were going to do the show today, I was like, I have to read it for the show. And I didn't know what to expect. It's not my normal wheelhouse. It is horror, but I don't really read as much slasher as I do other horror stuff. And it's a weird genre of horror also. It's like slasher, sci-fi, Nazi. It's its own thing, which is awesome. And I freaking loved it, man. I loved every word of it, every page. So excellent job, dude. Like I really did. I mentioned to you, but I loved it. So I can't wait for the sequel or whatever whatever book you're putting next in that universe. I can't wait for it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I got. Like I told you, I'm sitting on yours, but so like I was just saying before this started live. So I'm just moved out here to California. So your book with all my other books are sitting in a tub on a moving truck that I'm still waiting to show up almost 3 weeks later. So as soon as that shows up.
Hey, take your time, man. No worries. But I had to tell you, I loved it, man. So definitely can't wait for the people. Yeah. So I guess my origins of writing and horror, funny enough, I also, and I think I storied this a couple weeks ago, but I came across my elementary school yearbook. And in my elementary school yearbook, it said I either, when I grow up, I want to be a sports player and a writer. Or a sports player or a writer. So I started with that. I was like, dreams do come true. So I always wanted to be a writer. My dad wrote comic books. He's a published comic book writer for many years. We have, his comic books published out here in our studio, which is really cool. So I always had a thing for writing. I too wrote like short stories when I was a kid. I always did that. I always wrote. I always read as well. I definitely had a lull in my reading career at some points. Like throughout high school, I didn't really read too much. But I always loved reading. It was always a big thing I loved doing, except for, a few years here and there. And I actually wrote, I was 23 at the time. I'm 34 now. So 23. And I wrote this book called They Came at Midnight. Okay. And it was another Goosebumps type book. And I decided, you know what, I really want to be a writer. I'm going to go forward and try and do this. But I didn't know anything about the publishing industry or what have you. So I wrote this book. It was more of a short story-ish. I think it came out like 50 pages. And I submitted a portion of it to an R.L. Stine fan contest. And I ended up winning this contest. And it was like open on his website for like a few months, whatever. And I submitted this. And again, it turns out I like 3 months later, I'm sitting in my office at school. And I get an email saying, you know, congratulations, come meet me at the Grand Hyatt on 42nd Street on this date. Sincerely, Robert Stein. And I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, Stein, like, I have no idea what this is about. And it hit me, and I'm like, holy shit. Excuse my language. I was like, I won this contest. I completely forgot about this whole experience. And so that was like such an amazing thing, such an amazing experience. So I got to go be R.L. Stein's special guest at a cocktail party in New York City. And we spent the night, we had drinks together, and it was just insane. It was such a validating experience. And I have pictures from that night. I have all kinds of cool stuff. And so from that moment on, I think I was like 24. I was like, you know what? This is what I want to do. I have no other goal. You know, I'm a teacher. I teach 7th grade English. So I'm reading and writing is a huge part of my life. And I just always kind of wanted to do this. And so I wrote Don't Call a few years ago, like 2 years ago. I guess maybe 3 years ago now, and I was on tour. I direct teen tours over the summer. And I wrote it, and I was like, you know what? I had just made an Instagram account. I befriended a bunch of people. Dustin Careed is one of them, who's the most amazing person, if you guys don't know him. And he just kind of introduced me to a bunch of people like Cameron Chaney. And I kind of saw how they had self-published and gone through all these different motions of going that route. And I was like, you know what? I think that's the best way to do it. I had sent that story that I wrote. They came at midnight to a bunch of different agents. I got no bites. And then I sent Don't Call out to a handful of agents. I keep a long list, on file. And again, I got no bites. So I was like, you know what? I love Mr. Chaney. I have to be honest. Like, I totally look up to you, like on social media and everything. So like when I saw how you went about your process, and I picked your brain for a lot of things. And I just decided that's what I was going to do. And that's how Don't Call kind of came to fruition. And my love of horror just came. I've always loved horror movies. Roubique and I were talking before we came on. He's got awesome posters in his back. My whole downstairs is lined with all kinds of cool horror posters. One of my favorite memories as a kid, I've had the same best friends my entire life since we were little kids. And I think we were like 11 years old. And my dad goes, all right, guys, you're all coming into my room. We're going to watch a movie tonight. And again, we were like 11 years old, like me and 4 friends. We got in on my parents' bed. We're all sit there, lights are off. We get the popcorn. And he pops in Evil Dead, like a VHS of Evil Dead.
Yeah.
It scarred us for life, but it set us up for life. So that's kind of where my love of horror came, and it never let up.
That's exciting.
Yes.
Evil Dead. I love that. He was a good dad.
Oh yeah, that was it. So I show him all my stuff now, and he's like, I'm like far beyond anything he could ever dream possible. I like surpassed him in like the pantheon of like horror. So, but yeah, that's kind of what my story is.
How about you, Chaney?
I'm really jealous, Robbie, that you got to like spend a day with R.L. Stine. That
seriously.
is
I have to tell you, man, like he is as creepy as you can possibly imagine. Like what you expect is what you get, man. Like he's a very creepy, like very to himself, like he keeps himself. But yeah, man, it was unreal. It was such a out of body experience.
That's just so cool. And LJ, I haven't had a chance to read your book. Like I said, I've not been on social media, so I didn't like hear about it until I heard, that you were going to be on the show. It sounds awesome and like right up my alley. The whole just craziness of it is totally my bag. So I'm going to check it out. I'm going to get that hardcover because that thing looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So yeah, I do. I get this question a lot, and I always try to like think of like, well, what reason do I have to be so obsessed with horror the way I am? I don't know. Like I have no idea where it came from because I've always been into spooky stuff. Like since I was like a toddler, I was just like this spooky little kid who was obsessed with Halloween and Goosebumps, and it just happened that way. Like even when I was like 2, my mom said that whenever she would read me picture books, I'd always go for the spooky ones that have ghosts on it. It's just what I gravitated towards, and it's so weird. And even like our Halloween decorations that we had when I was a kid, I would play with those instead of toys. Like I gravitate toward the Halloween decorations. So I don't know. I've just always been obsessed with horror and Halloween and spookiness and graveyards and the like. I would say Goosebumps was definitely the thing that really instilled that on me more than anything. And then as I got older, I just progressed into other things, movie wise, and aged up in my reading. So yeah,
that's really exciting. Jay here says that he completely missed the Goosebumps age. He was applying for Medicare and getting a cane at the time. So Dana has a question for you guys. She wants to know what scares you most, what's your nope or even hell nope, and is it easier to write about things that creep you out yourself because you know the feelings and emotions behind it? Why don't we switch it up this time and I'll get Chaney to answer first this time.
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of the things that scare me are things that I don't like to talk about because they're very real things. Like I always worry about like my family and everything. So I'm like, never want to see anything bad happen to anybody that I love. So that's what really scares me. So like a lot of the the things that I write about, I don't find them very scary. That's why and even when I'm looking for books to read and horror movies to watch, I'm never looking for something that'll scare me because I hardly ever get scared unless it's something real, in which case it'll mess me up. Like The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum, that book destroyed me and really scared me at being somebody who has so many sisters and siblings. So yeah, at the same time, I don't think anything is hell nope for me. I'll watch or read just about anything.
So for that realistic stuff, that stuff is truly, truly terrifying. Absolutely.
Yeah, it is. But I'll still watch and read it.
Yep, me too. I won't sleep at night sometimes, or sometimes I'll be checking under my bed or double checking that all the doors and windows are locked. But I mean, I'll still read it. How about you, Robbie?
Yeah, so first of all, I was going to say what's up, Daniel, Iron Rated Books. He popped in. So what's up, dude? Thanks for popping in. Great question, Dana. I think I'm with Chaney on this one in the sense that, like, I'll watch anything, and, I will get spooked out, and I love to get spooked out. Like, I love that feeling. Like you said, you gravitate towards that spooky stuff, like anything that's Halloween, anything that's spooky. I just love it. As far as what actually truly scares me or no, I'm not sure that I have anything that really truly scares me, but I will say I watched a movie recently, probably in the last year and a half, that truly did scare me. It was an anomaly, like it doesn't happen often, but I watched the movie Creep. Have you guys seen that movie?
Which one?
What's up?
Which one is it? I know there's a couple different ones that have the title Creep.
The first one with the guy from
the found footage one where he has the mask.
Yeah, the wolf mask.
Yeah.
So that movie, I remember, like, I think my roommate, I was living in New York City with a roommate, and he was like out for the weekend, and I watched it by myself. And after it ended, I was truly, truly scared. I like, there's a scene where like he's like standing outside the window, or like not really sure where he is, and it's at nighttime, and like it's a terrifying movie. I can't even tell you. It's one of those movies that are real, and it feels so real. And the guy I forgot the name of the actor who played the main guy in the story. And
I had it for 2 seconds, and it just left my mind.
You know what I'm talking about. He's a very famous actor. And it just, if you really want to be freaked out, watch that movie. That's the only thing I can think of in the last few years that really, really messed me up. And like that night, I was definitely. What's up?
I said it's an uncomfortable movie.
Uncomfortable, right? And then, like, I remember being alone that night and just thinking, I like couldn't get out of my mind. Like someone was outside of my apartment watching me. And so if you want to be freaked out, watch that movie. That's the final answer.
How about you, LJ?
I don't know if there's anything specific like that I would say as a note for me, but like the other night, my wife and I, we were watching Dr. Sleep for the first time, I've been putting it off because I have a 2.5-year-old, and so like finding time to watch a 3-hour movie is difficult. Finish it anyway. But anyway, what I'm getting at is there's a scene. This isn't a spoiler, but there's a scene early in the morning with like a little kid. His mom is a drug addict or something, and he's like left alone while his mom's passed out, and like it was just like so difficult for me to watch. And I don't think like before being a dad, it would have been as like emotionally like uncomfortable for me. But like both me and my wife are just like, oh my God, right? So like anything with like kids in peril to some degree bothers me now. In regards to like scary, it's more about like less about like what the topic is for me and more about like what like the overall like feeling is. And I was thinking about I don't know why, but the movie Mothman Prophecies, I was thinking about that the other day. And like that's a movie I don't think it's talked about as much as it should, and it has just like from beginning to end like this overwhelming like sense of dread, right? Like people talk about Robert Eggers' The Witch a lot in regards to that same reason, and I love that movie too. I love it. But both those movies had that same thing where they're just like this uncomfortable feeling. It's less about like what's actually going on and more about like the mindset that like that viewer is in. And I think that's so powerful because those are two completely different types of movies, but they both like give you that same emotion, right? Just that dread, right? So definitely not a note. I love movies like that, but I think those, like that movie, I think maybe has scared me more, like looking back, maybe than anything I can think of that scared me. That one definitely stands out.
I'm the same with you when it comes to kids. You know, like those like, you know, pesky teenagers, you know, that Roubique puts in his work. That's fine. They can fight. They can, you know, hold up their own, but you know, like you've got like a little baby or toddler, if they're in peril or if they're in trouble, they can't even, they're so innocent, they can't even try to protect themselves in any way. So that's like the one, I'll still read it, but it is something that bothers me too, for sure. How about you, Roubique?
Oh, everything scares me. I'm always afraid. Like my brain just goes off in scary scenarios like all the time. Like I'll see a weird shadow on the window and like it's just a car passing by on the road, but I think, oh, it looks to me for a second like a vampire like hanging out the window or so, you know, just something. There's always just crazy things going through my mind where I'm like, ah. So I'm always on I'm always kind of jumpy. There used to, when I used to do film and stuff in college, everyone would always just try to jump out and scare me on set, and you know, and they would succeed. I mean, every single time, and I was always just freaking out. You know, everyone was always creeping me out in some respect. And I have a lot of like. Nothing like real scary really ever happens to me. Like nothing unexplainable. It's always something that can be explained. But I have a lot of bad dreams, a lot of nightmares, and I remember them all. Like a lot of them make it into my books as like scenes. You know. I was
gonna say, do you have that little notepad beside your bed?
I don't really keep a notepad because the ones that really are gonna stick with you, like you don't need to write them down. You'll remember. They don't
go away. Besides, you wouldn't be able to understand it come the next morning, anyways, when you try to look at the writing.
Yeah. I would say the one like kind of hell no thing is for me is always kind of when I was little, I was always afraid of dolls. My mom is a seamstress, and she would sew clothes for these dolls, these weird porcelain dolls, and she actually. Like a year ago.
No, that's
she
a note to myself. Like that's definitely a note. Definitely a note.
Yeah, I read a lot of Ruby Jean Jensen, and she writes about dolls all the time. And her book, she wrote a book called Mama. I think that was like her biggest like breakout book, and that actually genuinely scared me. I was like, man, this book is freaky. But my mom actually dug the old dolls out a couple years ago, and I was like, they just gave me the same, even though I'm 34 years old, they gave me the same, like, I can't look at those things. And now she said she got rid of them, and I'm like, well, great, they're out in the world somewhere. They're gonna show up outside my house.
It's right behind you right now. There's one right behind you.
Oh, Chucky. Chucky's okay.
I actually remembered something. I call it a material fear because it's not something that's like life-threatening for me, but I just can't really handle it. And it's spiders. I just like the movie Arachnophobia. I watched that as a kid, and I could handle it. And I think the reason why it's like spiders, but my mom made me feel bad for being spiders. And then once I got out of the house, and now it's just like out of control, where I'll see a spider and I'm just like, I can't.
Oh no.
So Arachnophobia, I tried to rewatch it a couple years ago, and I got through it, but just barely. The whole time I'm like, ah, no. The lady goes to turn the light off, and the spider falls on her hand. Ah!
I think I'm with you, Chaney. Again, like the biggest real life thing that would scare me is insects, bugs, insects, spiders, roaches. I can't. Mice. Mice I could do, any kind of little rodents, but insect, creepy crawlies, I cannot do. So
I think I'm slightly claustrophobic, and so like when I saw The Descent for the first time in the theaters, like those scenes, like when they're crawling through, like I mean the creatures are awesome, right? But I wouldn't say they're that scary. But like the scenes when they're crawling through like the really tight tunnels and stuff like that, like that was intense.
How about you, Nichi?
Movie from a couple of years ago, where she's crawling through that little tunnel toward the end of the movie in the new Blair Witch. That was really claustrophobic.
Yeah.
I was in the theater, and I'm like feeling a little heavy. I can.
That's too funny.
What about you, Nichi? What scares you the most?
My TBR pile.
I think we all agree with you.
There you go. That's about it. That's about it. The TBR file. I'm letting authors down. That's what fears me the most. Is they're patiently waiting, and I'm trying. I swear I'm trying. Jay wants to know if you guys get any weird looks from your friends or family in gatherings or whatever when they know what you write.
I get weird looks anyway. I'm just like the weird guy at family parties.
It's just because they like your green glasses, your sunglasses. They're just looking at those. Those things are awesome.
Oh yeah, the Nerf sunglasses.
Yeah.
I will say that my parents referred to my basement as my house of horrors. That's what they say. So when everyone says, "Oh yeah, Robbie's moving into a new place," we all get together. But yeah, you don't want to go downstairs. It's his house of horrors. That definitely makes them think twice about coming over.
LJ?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, I've always been into spooky stuff since I was in weird shit ever since I was a kid, little. So my family was all used to it. Me growing up, it was never a surprise or something that they were like, oh my God, I was like, oh,
that's LJ for you. Yep, that's him.
Yeah, that's him.
Roubique, how about you? Do you get weird looks?
No, my family they're well aware of the horrorness about me. They all get it. I do get weird looks from like other people because I have like a normal day job and stuff, and sometimes people will say, oh, maybe you should go back to school and you should do this, young man. Like I work for a Parks and Rec district, so I talk to a lot of old people. And they're always like, oh, you should go back to school. And I'm like, well, I have a degree and stuff. And I'm actually an author on the side. Oh, that's nice. What do you write? I write horror books. Oh, that's where I get the weird, looks and people are going, I'm not reading that. But yeah, my family's cool with it.
For some reason, your old person voice reminds me of Adam Sandler.
It does. You're right. Yeah.
I was hearing Adam Sandler.
My niece calls me Uncle Scary. That's her name. She's like 5 years old. She calls me Uncle Scary.
Oh, I like that. Well, you guys are called the horror hunks here because we had that ongoing joke.
Robbie came up with that, right? Is that Robbie's term?
Well, Nikki and I were going back and forth on social media, and I don't even know how it came up, but she started calling us. She's called one of us Hunky or something. She's like, "That'd be a great name for the podcast." I flag it up top during the podcast, so I ran with it. I kept calling us the Hunky Boys, and then it just kind of stuck,
what I said, and I think Chaney had missed all of this because I was emailing him, and with you guys I was like chatting back and forth on Instagram. I was saying that everyone's going to be so jealous that just me, little old me, gets to sit on with a bunch of good-looking horror male authors, and then that's where it kind of just ran from there. It's been an ongoing joke, and then Robbie was like horror hunks, and then I think we did like hunks between pages or something like that. I was like, well, maybe.
I mean, listen, you're gonna put me on here and like prop me up as a horror author, then you're gonna come in here and prop me up as a hunk. I'm not gonna say no, like I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too funny.
I'm not gonna say no to that.
Jay also would like to know how many works in progress you guys have currently. I saw the eyeballs all go wide all at once.
I'll say that I'll start off. I do know that we have at least one other person in this chat is involved with this. There is a really exciting project coming out in the nearest future, probably within the next year. It will definitely be twisted. I'll leave it at that.
It's not soon enough. It's not soon enough.
A lot of great authors are involved. It's going to be an anthology. And I know, I don't know every single name that's involved, but I know a lot of them, and I cannot wait for this to come out. Myself included. And again, I know Chaney, you're involved. Roubique, I thought maybe, I wasn't sure, I thought maybe, I wasn't sure. I thought I might have heard your name, but I know.
Which anthology you're talking about?
Oh, he's trying to spill the beans.
Yeah. You have multiple in progress.
I don't know. I did a cover for another anthology. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about or.
Gotcha, different.
Okay.
I feel like I've already said too much. But anyway, there's a project coming out, which I know Chaney's involved, and it's really exciting. I know Lorian Lawrence is involved, which I'm really excited about. Dustin Can Reed's involved, which I'm really excited about. There's a lot of really cool authors, and so that's definitely something that's in the works for me. And Chaney. Can I keep going? Is that all right? Am I like the first one up here?
Go for it.
All right. I have also another book that I'm writing. I'm shooting for an October release. It is a middle grade horror fiction, but it's in a different vein than Don't Call. It's not a Goosebumps throwback. It is a I'm like trying to coin it as fantastical horror because it's called The Time Watchers, and it's a series about three best friends. I'm such a big Stranger Things fan, and Don't Call was really a little shallow in his character work, and so I loved writing it, but it was definitely shallower in the character work. So I really wanted to explore more character work in this next book and write more about their friendship and their relationship. So it's about three best friends, and it all starts with a sleepover that goes horribly wrong. And there are witches, and the Watcher himself is like this super evil being that sits on a throne of clocks, like watches every kid in the world. And I'm really excited about it. And I'm shooting for an October release, and it's definitely going to be longer than Don't Call. I'm shooting for like probably 50,000 words, and I'm really excited about it. That's what's going on.
I'm also excited for that anthology. I know about that one too.
Yes. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say any more than that, but I had to. I'm so excited about it. I had to get it out. That's a great question.
I think he would kill you if you did. Yeah.
I know. I know.
I keep telling him he has to come up here too. It hasn't happened yet, but
I thought that you had him on. I thought.
No, I think I've bugged him a couple times, even to do like a pre-recorded one if he didn't want to do a live, but it hasn't happened yet.
Gotcha.
But maybe we can poke him a little bit more and we can get him on.
Definitely.
Who wants to go next? How many works do you have in the progress?
Well, I can piggyback off of Brian. So yeah, we have the anthology that's set to come out at some point. Not sure exactly when. Don't know if I should say exactly when. I have another anthology that I've already submitted a story for, and I believe that's coming out in December, sometime this winter. It was supposed to come out earlier, but they wound up pushing it back. But I'm really excited about that one. That's I had another auto story I put there. It's actually auto pro story, so it's a little different.
Oh.
I'm really happy with that. I'm really excited for people to read that. And then I have another thing that I'm going to be sending for 3 anthologies probably this year. And I am currently working on a novel series, 90s throwback production style of Fear Street in Autumn Crow in 1990. It's the senior class of Autumn Crow High, and I'm super excited for it. So I should be releasing the cover art very soon. By Roubique. So
I was gonna say it's gotta be.
it's great. It looks amazing. I haven't been able to stop looking at it since it was finished.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
I'm salivating right now. I'm like so excited to see that.
I'll pull it up on my phone right now.
You can't do it.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Come on, man.
I want to release it, but I want to be back on Instagram so that way I can share it. So as soon as I'm back on Instagram, I'm gonna go ahead and share it. So that's really the only thing I'm holding out for. Otherwise, I probably already would have shared it by now. But yeah, I'm aiming for a September release date. I'm hoping it's September. If not, it would be early October. But I'm really pushing for late.
That's exciting. Then it'll be there, good and ready before Halloween hits.
Yeah.
LJ, how many do you have in the works?
A handful. I just finished recently the follow-up to Beasts of the Caliber Lodge. Cameron read the first draft and gave me some good notes, and I got a couple other people looking at it right now. Oh, thank you.
It's better. It's even better than Beasts. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm really happy with it. So,
how is that possible?
Oh,
pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. It's yeah. So I've already posted the title on social media. It's called Primal Reserve. Is what the next one's called. So yeah, just finishing up editing on that one, and hopefully by the end of the year releasing that. And then I got two others that I'm working on. The other two are based on screenplays that I had written previously as well. Primal Reserve that just came up after writing Beast and kind of thinking like, where can I go from here with it? Just because I really like the characters and stuff and wanted to continue it. But yeah, I got then a couple more that are in various stages. One that's got a little supernatural stuff in it, which is not usually what I write. So that's a little bit different. And then one that's kind of like a horror meets like rural noir, kind of like No Country for Old Men type style. A little more horror than that. So yeah.
Ooh, sounds good. You guys are gonna kill my bank account. Roubique, how many do you have in the works?
Well, I have two new book covers that I painted coming out. I did Cameron Chaney's Autumn Crow, which is I think that'll be the first one that comes out. So yeah, I'm really excited about that one. That one's pretty amazing. And then I did the anthology, the cover for Regina St. Clair's Serve Cold anthology. It's the winter horror anthology. So I did that one too. And I think she was trying to put that out this past winter, but she ran out of time or something. So yeah, she's gonna put it out this winter. And so yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. That one's gonna be cool. And then I'm writing the next I have this series, the like 1981 Year of Blood books, because that was like the golden year of the slashers, the slasher movies. So I have this kind of loosely related series of slasher books. Disco Death Trap and Golf Curse are the first two, and I'm working on 3. And 3 is really, really long. It's about double the length of my usual book. So that's why it's taken me so long. I started it last April, and I would say I'm about 60% of the way through right now. So I definitely am past that first half. But yeah, it's going to be really, really cool. And I'm really excited about it, but it's just been going super slow because I've just been painting all these other things. And we just got done recording the audiobook for Kill River.
Yes.
So yeah, there's just lots of stuff going on, kind of distracting me and pulling me away. I was really lucky. Damien Maffei from The Strangers Pray at Night, and from Haunt, he flew out to Colorado and read. He's the narrator of the Kill River audiobook. So I thought, who better than the guy who kills the other guy in a pool? So
yeah, he's got a killer voice.
His voice is amazing for it. It's so cool to hear him read it, because Kill River's very like sleepaway camp influenced, and he's from New York, so he's got kind of that Long Island accent. Like he kind of throws it, and it fits. It sounds like you're listening to a kid who went to sleepaway camp and then grew up and is telling a different like slasher story about a different sleepaway camp. It's amazing.
That's exciting.
So yeah, we're putting that together. I'm getting the editing and all that put together. So hopefully, I'm hoping by the end of the summer it should be like available to actually on Audible and everything. So
listen,
yeah.
So excited,
I have
man.
all the e-copies. I have all the physical copies, but you know that I'm gonna go and get the audio copy too. So
Yeah.
Roubique, you're gonna do the cover for my book too, right?
You doing a book?
No. I just want some of your artwork.
Oh yeah. I could do, if you write a book, I'll do the cover for it.
All right, you guys, write something.
All
for
you gotta
me.
do
I'll
is
send it
ask.
to me, okay?
Yeah.
Kelly wants to know what your current read is, or reads, I guess. Anyone can jump in for this one.
So right now I'm reading The Forgotten Island by David Sodergren.
Oh my
read
god!
that.
I love that
Read
book.
Dead Girl Blues first and just loved it. Along with Cameron's books, like that and Maggie's Grave were my favorite books from last year. And so like I got all the stuff he's writing faster than I can read his stuff. I'm a pretty slow reader. So, but anyway, I'm currently reading that one right now.
That's a great book. Again with the spiders.
Yeah, the spiders. That's right.
Yeah.
Sodergren's amazing.
Sorry, I think there's a lag.
Yeah, just a little bit, probably about 30 seconds or
I'm
so.
always lagging in these things, so I figured it would happen again. Probably my connection.
That's okay. What are you currently reading?
I am binging Fear Street books right now. I started from the very first Fear Street book, and I'm on book 10, which is called Ski Weekend.
Wow,
and I've been
good
vlogging
job.
about it over on my channel. Like every couple of weeks, I'll post a new one. And just, leading up to the new Netflix movies that are going to be coming out next month. So excited. So I'm just binging through those like left and right. It's going really well. Like they're short books, so you can get through them really quick.
Quick, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they're good reads too.
They're fun.
Robbie, what are you reading?
Chaney, this is a good time to just give you a little shout out for your spot on the listener. That was awesome.
Thank
I
you.
really enjoyed it. If you guys know Justin Can Read on Instagram or on his podcast, he did a really cool special called The Listeners, a 3-part. It's about 20 minutes each part. And Chaney guest starred as an awesome villain. And if you enjoy Fear Street, definitely go check it out because Chaney's part is awesome. Dustin wrote a really cool piece, and definitely go check that out.
Yeah, he killed it with that thing. It's the closest thing I've ever seen to like a Fear Street book. Like it feels like a modern Fear Street. Like
it does, but it was just so fresh. Also, like the whole idea behind it felt so original, And I mentioned to him there was definitely a I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. The writing felt like a Fear Street. There's no question about it, But anyway, I guess I'll jump in here with my current read. I'm currently really crushing hard on Tim Meyer. I am a big fanboy of Tim Myers right now. And so there it is. I am getting through Malignant Summer. I have like 100 pages left. And
you're crushing me.
I know, Nikki. I thought we were gonna get up to the same point. What happened? You know what it was? It's my fault because I'm reading it so fast I can't freaking put it down. That it's my fault. So I'm sorry.
I've been doing these. That's what I've been doing every night. I've been doing live shows, and by the time I'm done, I'm like, listen, I'm done. I'm going to bed.
I just can't stop. Like the first thing I do every morning, I read as much as I can. The first thing I have my coffee and I read as much of Malignant Summer as possible if I can't put it down.
I'll send my kids over your way so then I can crack down on
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll just read them Malignant Summer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm reading Malignant Summer, and it's awesome. If you guys haven't checked out Tim Meyer's work, which I'm sure you have at this point because he is unbelievable, go check it out. Malignant Summer.
Roubique, what are you reading?
I'm kind of doing like a marathon of slashery books. So I'm reading right now I'm reading The Sleepover Massacre by Brian G. Berry. And it's really good. It's set in the 80s and everything. It's totally like my style of book. It feels like if you've ever seen The Slumber Party Massacre, it feels like Slumber Party Massacre like 1.5. Like it takes place in 85, so it's like it feels like it's in between the first two, and it's really good. And Brian's really cool, and he's really supportive on Twitter. And yeah, after that, I'm gonna read Jessica Guess's Cirque Berserk and Scott Donnelly's Killer Scarecrow, and then I'm going to try to read, before the summer's out, I'm going to try to read Tim Meyer's The Paradise Club.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, read it.
I really want to get to that.
Oh my god. That's my favorite read of 2021 so far.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my god. Or 2021, yeah. For a second I brain farted. Yeah, 2021. It's dude, it is phenomenal. I read it in like a day. I can't even tell you. That book is so freaking good. It's just
Nice.
it's just pure fun, man. Like at every single turn.
Nice. Yeah, I have it. And so that's like my summer reading list, basically. I'm going to try to get through all those.
Definitely.
Oh, we'll have to do it again, Kelly. We'll have to make sure that you could definitely be on with everyone. All right, I had another question here. They wanted to know if you guys were going to watch. Wait, I've lost it. There's just too many people, as you guys can see my finger scrolling up and down here. I've lost it.
We believe in you, Nikki.
So many comments. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Oh, no. It might be gone. I don't even know if it's showing anymore. You guys are putting in the comments too quickly. Oh, I found it. Halloween Kills. Are you guys gonna watch it?
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna watch it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Can't wait for it. I loved Halloween 2018, man. I absolutely loved it. You know, people love H2, and obviously Halloween 3 is amazing. But H18 is like my second favorite in the franchise. I absolutely loved H18, and I cannot wait for Halloween Kills.
Yeah, Halloween 2018 was I really liked it as well. The new trailer for the new one looks awesome. I feel like I kind of saw the whole movie already though by the trailer, but that's fine. I'll still watch it. I'm probably maybe in the minority here, but I'm a big fan of the Rob Zombie ones. I love Rob Zombie's Halloween movies. Yeah, maybe Cameron can shake this.
Me and LJ always fight about this.
We hard disagree on him, but yeah, I love those ones. And like the trailer for the new one feels more Rob Zombie style to me. Like it just seemed like more dirty, more brutal. So yeah, I'm all about that. I like it.
Yeah, I will say the first time I watched the trailer, I was a little underwhelmed, but I've watched it like 30 times since, and it's gotten better. So, like, the first time I watched it didn't give me like I think I've hyped it up so much in my mind because I love 2018 so much that it just didn't. The first time I watched it, it didn't hit me as hard. But since then, I've watched it a bunch more. I can't wait.
It's seeing all of those little elements, like seeing Lindsay, and like because I didn't catch her the first time, and then watching the second, I'm like, oh shit, that's Lindsay. Sorry.
Yep.
No, you're good. You're good.
And then Anthony Michael Hall, like seeing him, like I didn't catch him the first time around. Then I watched again. I'm like, oh, there he is. It's just it looks awesome.
It does. Yeah, absolutely. The trailer looks really good. Okay, Jay would like to know, how much do you rely on social media to promote your work? Roubique, I never really see Roubique's work on social media other than like somebody posting photos.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of just I haven't been on social media as much just because I've just been busy. You know, there's just so much craziness going on. But yeah, I try to if I'm gonna post anything, I try to post something like kind of creative and you know, like show like the cover painting for the book next to the book, or like show like the, you know, the real life places that like inspired some of the scenes of the book, or
Oh,
I try
love
to
that
kind of
video. I love
yeah.
that video. I watched that
thanks.
like probably like 6 times. I tell you.
Yeah, I try to just kind of post like interesting stuff and not post like too I don't like to be too like shamelessly self-promoting all the time, like, oh, here's my book again, here's my book.
I do that. I'll do that for you guys.
Yeah, I'm the exact opposite. So like I would say like probably the majority of my stuff is done through social media. Like, and I would say Twitter specifically, like and not so much like people that necessarily follow me that are, I think, seeing it, but it's like other authors and stuff who are really good about like promoting other people's work. Like Robbie shared a bunch of my stuff. Nichi, obviously you. You know, Ross Jeffrey has been great about it. Like, more so like that, people with bigger followings and stuff helping out people who are kind of new to the indie horror scene has been huge. And so I think if I didn't post so much on Twitter, at least stuff for other people to share and stuff, like I think that the amount of people reading my book would be much lower. So
word of mouth, social media is definitely powerful, because I know I actually found Roubique through the Bloody Beach read along, and ever since then I can't stop, right? So absolutely. How about you, Chaney? Do you rely on social media?
Well, like I've been saying, like I've not been on social media for about 7 months, but really, even when I was on it, it wasn't about me promoting my work. It's about other people sharing. So looks like we lost Nichi for a second. Yeah, it's such a big help for other people to be sharing my work. All of these horror book reviewers that I know and that I have the privilege of being friends with. That's the biggest help. Of course, I have my YouTube channel, and I don't really promote my own work on there too often. Like I'll sit my book in the background, but I try not to like push my book on people. But you know, it's there, it's in the background. So if people see it and they're like, "Oh, cool, what's that?" Yeah, there it is. But I try not to be like, "Hey, you better go buy my book." So yeah, it's definitely important. Social media is definitely important for getting the word out there, especially for us indie authors, because otherwise people wouldn't hear about us. You know, we're not going to be on the New York Times, so we need.
You should be.
I personally would like to see a lot more behind the scenes stuff about Autumn Crow and the inspiration stuff behind Autumn. I think you need to do more videos about that.
It's on the list, actually. I was actually just thinking about that earlier today. I want to do like go story by story, what inspired what, and also showcase some different locations, kind of like what you did with your golf course video, because there is a town that loosely inspired Autumn Crow. So I'd like to make a video about that. It's a cool place.
I love seeing stuff like that, like because it's kind of like, and this is something like with streaming videos, like you don't get much anymore, but like when you would get a DVD, right, and like you'd have all that behind the scenes footage, like I loved watching that stuff. And so like seeing that same type of thing for an author and their book, like almost just as enjoyable as reading the actual book, I think.
Yeah.
It gives you that whole atmosphere.
Yeah.
Sorry, Robbie, I talked over you there. You were just about to share.
That's okay. And Chad, thanks, man. I love this shirt. I got this shirt at Pacific Sunwear, right? And I saw like I got like an Instagram ad for it, and I was like, "This is sold at Pacific Somewhere." I left work and I went straight to the mall and I went to Pacific Somewhere to get this shirt. I like called on my lunch break. I was like, "You have this Goosebumps shirt? I need it." And they checked my size. They held it for me, and I ran to Pacific Somewhere to get it. It's freaking awesome, man. It's Haunted School. It's like purple and white tie dye. It's just the coolest shirt. But anyway, so the good news about my writing journey is that I didn't even need to write a good book. I just hired Cameron Roubique to do the cover. So I sold a lot of books that way. So, but no, honestly, the greatest thing, like LJ was saying, has been finding like-minded authors, finding other people that are in the same they're in the same place, and they just love talking about spooky things. They just love being around other people who share their love of horror, share their love of books and stories and movies. You know, I started with putting my writing journey out there, but like it blossomed into this whole thing about movies and like talking to these people about like the movies they love, and just being a part of this community is everything to me. And like the people I've met along the way, like all three of you dudes and Nichi, like it's a phenomenal thing. And so promoting your book is one thing, and I do it sometimes, but it's just being on social media and just organically talking about your book. Naturally promotes it. Like people are so cool on here; they want to know about your book, and like one thing leads to another. Now this anthology, there you go. Now this anthology is happening, and and I have another book out. And like it's just, I know all of you guys have so many cool things in the works. It really is just a matter of being a part of this community of people who are so awesome. And Nick, you're having such a good time right now. I can see whispering underneath you.
I have to. Except for I'm probably like completely missing the camera because I'm not even looking.
You're savoring your time with the Hunky Boys. I get it. So that's what it is for me. And like even people who've reached out for like signed copies and stuff. Like people are just awesome. You guys all rule. And so thank you guys for being awesome. And you guys too on here, like just for welcoming me and accepting me. And like it's been such an awesome ride, man. I have so much fun doing it.
It's the
you fit right in, man.
LJ was asking me for advice before he put Beasts out, and I said I think a lot of the thing that just helps sometimes with social media is just kind of being a fellow fan and just geeking out about other books you like or other movies, just kind of being a fan and just making those connections. That's how I connected with Cameron, was just over the Goosebumps and stuff, and you have a cool name, bro, and like that's kind of how
have the same name as other people.
Yeah.
And then you can do a camathon and everything where you can read all of their work.
Yeah, Roubique. I don't even know how it happened, to be honest with you. Like when I reached out to you about doing the cover for Don't Call, I don't even remember. Maybe I got your number from Chaney. I really don't remember how it happened, but or maybe reach out to you on Instagram. But I just remember being like starstruck, and like that might sound crazy, but like I was like, to me, like I was like, this guy is. I loved his books. I loved you were like a megastar to me, and you're still a megastar to me.
Whoa!
It's just I really was starstruck, like reaching out to this person who's written a series of books that are awesome. It's in the horror genre that you know what I mean. But like to me, as such a fan of the genre, it was such a wild and unheard of thought to me to even reach out to you. Like it was so.
I'm trying. They're sliding around too much.
It was just so crazy of a thought, like that you could possibly do the cover of my book. Again, I think it stemmed like my fanhood of Chaney and his work and his whole thing. His YouTube channel, all that. And I was like, I never in a million years could have dreamed like Cameron Roubique doing my cover, But I was like, I don't even know how it started, but I hit you up and like one thing led to another and we came to an agreement. And here I am, like a year, or it came out February. So February, March, April, May, June, like 5 months later. And it's still like a dream. It's wild. I can't even tell you.
I remember talking to you because I was at work and we were mowing and I was like running a trimmer and I was like, putting the trimmer down and like messaging you back real quick, and then I'd trim a little bit more. And because I think I had talked to Regina about doing the cover for Served Cold, and I had it was like 2 days after I had just you signed on with her.
Yeah, you had mentioned to me that you had another project. That's right.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, maybe if we do like kind of a more simpler design or something, like something really eye-catching but more simple and easier to do. Then maybe I can squeeze you in, because I didn't want to say no. I was like, I don't want to say no. Like, dude, to me, it's crazy that anyone else would ask me to paint their cover art. I'm like,
isn't that crazy? How we just perspective,
Yeah, I'm like. I painted in high school a little bit. I never really got into it. What I did is I actually asked Tim Jacobus of Goosebumps if he would do the cover for Kill River, like back in like 2013. I emailed him, and he actually was nice enough to email me back, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I definitely paint stuff," and he was really nice, and he gave me he quoted me, he gave me his quote of his price, and I definitely could not afford that back then. So I was like, well, maybe I don't know, maybe I'll get back on it and I'll just try to paint again, and yeah, one thing led to another, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess maybe I could do this. All right.
Yeah, I remember when you showed me. I also, early on, I remember seeing Chaney with his canvas of Autumn Crow in one of his videos, and I'm like, I was like, that's it. I was like, there you go, Nichi. I was like, I need a
Oh, he's getting it.
There it is.
There it is. It is beautiful, man.
Thing.
And I was like, that to me is one of the coolest things ever, to have, this keepsake from your first book. And to have that forever, I've shown you on socials. I framed it, and thought to me of having that canvas. I actually, I had went to a different outlet. A friend had recommended someone else, and I had my heart set on their work, and it fell through for whatever reason. The other artists flaked big time, and they just it is what it is, But that's when I was kind of on my ass, excuse my language again. And I didn't really know what to do. And I was like, you know what? I'm so in love with your work, and I'm so in love with the Autumn Crow cover. And I was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to reach out. And I was so starstruck. But eventually, when you hit me with the cover that you did, I guess it was the
Photoshop,
the concept art, I was like, this is it, man. Like, this is the cover, and I cannot imagine it in any other way. It's amazing. It really is.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, dude.
I'm just loving this gush fest. I'm starstruck too. I'm a fangirl over here.
No.
For all of you guys, because I always say that authors are my celebrities, and whenever Cameron Chaney would come into one of my live shows, it would be like a deer in headlights. Cameron Chaney's in my live show.
Also, not to mention, Chaney, when you hit me up about doing the interior, I was like, this is a dream. This isn't even my life. Because again, I know it's not a big deal to you guys, but it really is a big deal. And you didn't have to do that. You reached out to me. It wasn't like we were, in conversation. I remember I was in my apartment and you had texted me hey, I'm reading Don't Call. I'm enjoying it, yada, yada. And I would love to do the interior. People had done me a few favors when I started out in my first book, yada, yada. And I was like, the thoughtfulness in that, to reach out to me, to take some of your time, a published author. You have a YouTube channel with 20,000 followers, whatever you have. And I was just blown away at the community and people like you who would do things for you didn't know me, you didn't know anything about me really. We had texted a few times, but that to me shows so much about our community and about readers in general and writers in general. Yeah, and how we all kind of look out for each other, and it just blows me away. And it's that's what I love about this, being here, talking to you guys, and just seeing Cameron's studio right now, I'm fanboying so hard. Seeing where you write, I think that's the coolest thing, man. So you guys are just awesome. You're
gonna have to give us a tour. Everyone's gonna have to come to Chaney's place, and we want a tour of your library. Okay.
Yeah. Start charging for tickets, but yeah, man, Robbie, it was no problem whatsoever. Like I said, people have done me many favors when I was releasing my first book. Cameron, he did my cover art completely free. He painted this thing as a favor for promoting his books. This is amazing. this thing should cost $2,000 to have done.
It looks that here, man.
And I have another friend, Christopher Rondina, who did the layout of the cover, the font, and everything. And those are huge favors. So, yeah, man, it was my pleasure to help you out anytime.
Yeah, I don't think I said that all these guys are connected somehow. Roubique and LJ, they are friends for a long time since they were children. Robbie, he had his cover done by Roubique, and then the formatting was done by Chaney, and then Chaney's had his covers done by Roubique. So they're all connected somehow. So these guys know each other. They're connected. They're all freaking awesome. Fan-freaking-tastic. So
what we are is we're horror hunks, Nikki. That's what we
Sorry. Horror hunks.
Let's call it what it is.
Right. Now, we have surpassed that hour mark. I do have a couple more questions in the chat. Are you guys okay to answer a couple more questions before I let you guys go?
Yeah. You can go as long as you need.
Perfect. Jason from Jason's Weird Reads would like to know if you have any strange, weird writing rituals. Do you have to light a candle, set the mood, put the dimmer on?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I do. I always have to have everything clean and tidy because I'm a very neat person. So if I have clutter around me, like right now, I have a microphone and I have cords and wires and lights pointing on me. Like I can't focus on. I couldn't write like this at all. I need to have like soft lighting, and I need to have music or ambiance in the background, and I have to have my candle burning. So yeah, I have to have music playing. That's a big thing for me, and it has to match the scene that I'm writing. So if I'm writing like an action-packed scene, it needs to have a higher tempo. To me, it's just like regular writing stuff, but I guess it could be construed as being a little strange to some people.
That makes sense. It's what works for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Robbie, do you have a certain ritual?
So far in my writing journey, I'm a morning writer. I'm just a morning person in general. I love waking up early. So generally what in my writing journey so far, I've woken up pretty early, about 6 o'clock, and I do an hour every day. I sit with my coffee, but that's generally when I'm like the most alert. I'm the most, ready to go. So I feel sometimes I'll write, I'll do like 500 words in the morning. I'll do 1,000 words in the morning. And then at night, I'm like, I need to get back to it. So like, I'll go back in, I'll do a little bit more, but I generally like to write in the morning. And then I'll read throughout the day. That's how I'll get my reading in. But again, like there's some nights where I would have written that day and I'm like, I have to keep going. I want to finish this scene, and I'll do it because sometimes the next morning, like I'll have an idea and I just won't. It won't come out exactly the way I wanted it to. So I need to do this right now. I'll go back in tonight, and I'm like, yep, that's how I wanted it, and it's perfect, But I like to write in the morning. That's my big ritual. I can't do the music thing while I write. I have music on every other thing that I'm doing always. But I can't have it on when I write for whatever reason. But I get it. I kind of like the candle thing though, Chaney. Maybe I'll try that.
Get your coffee, your candle. Yes.
Yeah.
The sense, the aroma in the room.
Especially for Autumn Crow, I always had a pumpkin
Chaney. Say it again.
I said for while I was writing Autumn Crow, it was always like a pumpkin candle because obviously it's Halloween themed, so definitely it helps.
You'll have to come up with your own candles. Make your own, sell them, and be like, listen, these are for authors.
The scent of Autumn Crow.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think Sergio Gomez did that for Slaughterhouse, if I'm not mistaken. Right? I think he did a candle with one of his releases. That'd be really cool.
That would be cool. It's a good idea. Actually, I'm going to write it down.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're putting ideas on paper right now. So we're brainstorming together.
Yeah.
And I get the front row seat. I love this. LJ, Roubique?
Yeah, so I'm a nighttime writer. I write as soon as my son goes to sleep. As soon as he's asleep, then that's my time to write generally. So I usually get a couple hours a night, or try to get a couple hours a night, and then morning LJ hates me for doing so. I have to get up and do the day job.
You never get sleep. When you have kids, it doesn't happen.
So I definitely sacrifice my sleep for writing time. But that's what works for me. When I'm writing, I usually have a movie on, and it's usually the same couple movies that are whatever is kind of influencing whatever I'm working on. So with like Primal Reserve, as I've been writing that, like I've had Jaws and Apocalypse Now on for like on repeat, which sounds weird probably. But it's more like kind of keeping me in that headspace and that mood. I think and maybe you guys would agree with this, but I feel like as a writer, like I'm writing all day long, right? Even if I'm not like typing something out, like I'm thinking about it. It's always in my head. And so when I sit down to write, I feel like that's what helps me be really productive with that. Like Cameron and I talk quite a bit, and he always comments on how quickly I write.
Way faster than me.
Yeah, I definitely write faster than I read. But I think it's because like when I sit down to write, I can knock out a couple thousand pages a night on a good night, and it's because I've thought about it all day long, right? So like as soon as I sit down, really I'm just regurgitating like what I've thought about. I'm not sitting there trying to think about, all right, what happens next? I already know what happens next because I spent all day thinking about it. So that's kind of my, I guess, ritual is warm up and practice all day long and then sit down and execute it, I guess.
I like that.
Awesome.
You're right. You guys are always, the gears are always going, those creative juices.
I will say one thing I've done. Sorry, Roubique.
Sorry.
Real quick, one thing that I've been doing lately is like I use my notes in my phone. Like I always like I'm a physical notebook person, but like I'll be in bed and I'll be like, boom, that's the idea. Yeah. And like I'll just quickly like put it. So I have like notes upon notes in my phone of just like I don't want to forget this. This is way cool. So I put it on my phone. And
Careful with that. I just had to restart my phone back to factory settings and I lost everything.
You know what?
Everything.
Now, Nichi, you're gonna call me crazy, but now that I'm thinking about it, I got an Apple Watch today. Literally brand new. Got it today. I spent 4 hours in Verizon and Apple. I didn't take my notes over.
Oh yeah, do it because I didn't.
Purposes. It's over. I lost those notes.
Oh no.
I'm like, I didn't even realize it right now. I had all my notes for my anthology story in that.
Oh,
I had to get a new Apple ID, so I had to like transfer everything over. Oh man, that stinks. That is devastating. Sorry.
Oh man, we are witnessing like true fear and sadness.
Honestly, when you said that, I was like, wait a minute. Oh my god, I didn't transfer everything over.
Everyone said to me, why don't you have everything backed up to iCloud? And I'm like, because I use my phone for work purposes, too much confidential stuff. I just can't have that open on my phone, have that, regular backup. So I left. Some of them are irreplaceable because it's, family photos, videos of my kids, that sort of thing. But what do you do? And then I tried to refilm all the videos I lost. And for some reason, I can't get them off my phone onto my computer to edit them and upload them. One of them happens to have reviews of this one and this one, and I can't get it off my phone to be able to put it.
Yes, I saw your post about that. I had this whole Apple ID issue, and I'm like kicking myself. I completely forgot to send my notes over. That's all right. I'll figure it out. Sorry.
It will come back. Yeah.
That sucks.
Roubique, what about you?
Dude, sucks. I had the whole layout for this short story. I had notes for another book I wanted to write. It's all right. I'll figure it out. Always more ideas.
See, technology is great, but it can kick you in the ass.
There you go. Don't call.
Roubique.
Let's see. Strange. I'm kind of like LJ. Like I think about. I don't write at night because I'm like Robbie. I'm like more like a morning person. But I try to write a lot like on the weekend mornings because I had to wake up at 5 for work because I work maintenance, so I work like 7 to 3:30. So, but I try to come home and like because I have about a half-hour commute home, and so I always put like a soundtrack in my books, and so I listen to the soundtrack on the way home, and that kind of puts me in the mindset of the story, and Yeah, there's my soundtrack. And it puts me in the mindset of the story, so I'm like in it. So as soon as I get home, I try to write a little bit. But all day, like LJ was saying, like I kind of think like, okay, well, what are we doing for this next scene? And I try to think in like audiobook voice. Like I try to imagine like an audiobook narrator or something, like just kind of what would they say about this next scene of like this idea, like what would it sound like? And I do that. I also drink like I pick a different drink that I drink always, like with every like I drink a lot of soda and like caffeinated beverages, and like when I was writing Golf Curse, I drank a lot of Mountain Dew Voltage because there's the lightning and the Chief Tomahawk has the lightning and all that stuff. So I was like, Mountain
Dew drinkers.
Yeah. Yeah, do the do. And I drank a lot of Mountain Dew Voltage. So yeah, and now I've been drinking a lot of Mountain Dew and coconut rum, which is probably not good, but yeah, whatever.
It's good.
It's really good. It's really good.
It's summer too. That sounds like a really nice summer drink.
Yeah, it's delightful.
All right, and then I've got Deep Arya here, who's also a horror author, that is wondering about, is there a concern that sometimes indie authors get sidetracked or by other ventures? What advice would you give to an indie author who spreads themselves too thinly? I saw Roubique kind of, his eyes went like this. Do you want to answer first?
Oh, I get sidetracked all the time. I'm currently like that's my life right now. Is I'm just too many other things going on, and I don't know. It's just I don't really have any advice for it. It's just kind of, I don't know. You just gotta kind of play through it, and sometimes just do what you. I feel like with me, I feel like you have to kind of just get through the things that you have to do first, and as soon as those things are done, then it's easier to come back and write, and it's easier to kind of have more of a clear head. But yeah, sometimes unfortunately you got to just step away and do other stuff. But it's okay. The story will still be there. It'll still be waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
LJ?
I don't know. I think you just got to make time for it, right? Like, and I know that a lot of writers are like really religious about it, being like, hey, every night I have to do X amount of words and that sort of thing. And I'm sure that works for people. But like, if that doesn't work for you, find what does work for you, right? And like, kind of what helps me personally is if I'm really excited to write something, I'll find time to write it. It might not be every day, right? It might be every other day or once a week or whatever. But the biggest thing for me is if I'm having fun writing it, I think that someone else is going to have fun reading it, right? It's as soon as I'm not having fun writing it that I start thinking like, hey, I need to go back or adjust something or move on to a different story. Because I think if I'm always excited about that project, then I'm always going to want to find time. And like I said, like usually that's getting a little less sleep each night or whatever to get it done. But like, it's totally worth it, right? Like to have that completed project. And I'm always really excited to, even first draft, like when I sent Cameron just a couple of weeks ago, the first draft for Primal Reserve, like I was just stoked to get it out, right? And especially for the people who are excited to read it. And so I think that's really what kind of also like urges me and like pushes me along. Like, yeah, you're tired, or yeah, you got this other stuff done, and you always have to get that other stuff done first. And now you got like this little bit of time, but it's like that excitement, that spark that like keeps me going, right, to finish it up. I guess if that answers the question.
Yeah, absolutely. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. So I'm thinking about two things right now, and I always come back to this because it hit home so hard for me. But if you guys have read On Writing, Stephen King's memoir, I come back to this all the time again because it really hit home when I read it. But he talks about it in one of the earlier chapters about the most amazing thing about being a writer is that you can just do it. You know, you don't have to prove to anybody. You don't need the fame or the fort. You just write. And he talks about, you know, people come up to him all the time and say, oh, I wish I could. I always wanted to be a writer. I wish you could do. He said, well, if you want to be a writer, you just write. You know, the greatest thing about being a writer is that you're not a brain surgeon. You know, if you want to be a brain surgeon, if that's your dream, you can't just practice doing that. You can't just do that. With writing, if you want to be a writer, you just do it. So I know it's not exactly answering the question, but I think kind of like to LJ's point, if this is something you want to do, just find time. You know, it's totally tough. I get it. I'm a full-time teacher. I'm a camp director over the summer. I wrote Don't Call when I was out directing a teen tour with 50 kids on a bus. And I woke up at 6 o'clock and it was my haven. You know, it was what I loved doing. It was the best part of my day. And that's kind of like my morning thing, you know, like it's tough to find time. I feel you on that. I hear you on that. I don't have kids. I don't have a girlfriend. I'm and I'm still having trouble finding time. So, you know, it's just, I find the time. Again, the morning thing is great. Like I wake up, if I know I have this to do at 7 o'clock or be somewhere at 7:30, I'll wake up at 5:30 and I'll do my hour right then. Like that to me is a big safe haven. That's me time. That's, my time in the morning to write, to do whatever I need to do. Even days I have work, I don't start work till 8:30 and I get in at 6:30 because that's when I'll sit and I'll do my writing. And so, morning time is definitely helpful because you can, at night I'm too tired. I'll just want to pass out. In the morning, I'm alert, I'm fresh. So whatever time you need to get up, just set some time in the morning. Maybe that could help, if you have so much stuff going on through the day, give yourself an hour every morning. Just write,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Chaney?
I admire that, Robbie. I'm trying. I'm trying to become a morning person. The thing is, I used to be such a night owl. And then as I've gotten older, I am now so tired so early. And I'm still not a morning person. So basically, I just love to sleep. So I'm working on it. And especially now, like I'm just about to start a full time with my part-time job. So I have to balance that. My writing, my YouTube videos. So I have a schedule down and I'm hoping it'll stick. So hopefully this will help a little bit. But yeah, I get sidetracked. I'm very easily sidetracked. So I don't know if I'm equipped to give advice about this, but I think the main thing is just finding whatever works for you because we're all different and we all write differently. And that's the big thing is just like, well, who are you as a person? What do you know that you can stick to and use that? And maybe you'll have to have it still, but just start there. And there's many different tips out there on how to write. And basically you just have to find the one that works for you and try it out. And if it doesn't work, then try something else. Also, don't worry about every single word you write. I'm a book reviewer, so I do get in that mindset of like worrying about what my other book reviewer friends are going to say, worrying about every little word, and just don't do it because you'll spiral. So just keep writing, get your fingertips on the board, just keep going and getting it down. So that way at least you get your first draft done, and then worry about the rest after that. That's basically what advice I would have to not get sidetracked. Also, one other thing. Dana Decker in the comments says that she actually made an oil after a candle oil after Autumn Crow, which is awesome. And yes, definitely email me because I want it.
Yes, yes. I was gonna pop that up next. I was all excited.
I know that is
I want
awesome.
it too.
So cool.
That's it. You guys gotta like collab and make a whole bunch of them so I can buy one. Okay, even if it costs me like $60 to ship it here, I'll buy one.
The burnt brownies smelling candle.
Yeah, hey, that's a great idea.
Can we get like a Caliber Lodge scent going on here, please?
Ooh.
Like the second you walk into the main lobby there.
The musky Bigfoot scent.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I don't know how good that would be. There is though,
Or maybe we'll call it I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. Scent of Wilhelm Stengel, like an old, a really nice, yeah, you know what I mean? That would be awesome.
Yeah, I love like anything that's kind of like it makes it more of like an immersive experience, right? Like I think I agree with you guys. I think that candle idea for Autumn Crow and stuff would be awesome. And like the soundtracks that Cameron puts in his books, it just adds that extra layer, right? Like maybe not everyone's gonna pull up those songs or whatever, but like for the people who want to, like it's just that extra layer piece. And so like in Caliber Lodge, like my version of that, and inspired by Cameron's idea, is like my book has like a cocktail list, right? And so my books have a lot of drinking in them. And specifically like in Beast of the Caliber Lodge, like there's like a whole menu, right? That the characters get staying at this lodge, and then in the back of the book, I have the recipes and stuff like that.
I actually got to drink those drinks on St. Patrick's Day. We were hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
LJ made them. They're muy delicioso.
I will say, Roubique, I can't listen to Cyndi Lauper now without thinking of.
Yes.
And Chaney,
get it all the time.
I can't think of Bela Lugosi without thinking of Autumn Crow. So It's you. Yeah.
It's true. I'll hear her and I'll be looking over my shoulder waiting for it. Something's coming. Something's stalking me.
100%.
That's too funny. I'm just going to see. I think we have one last question here, and it was just, do you have a favorite vampire book or movie? Don't say Buffy.
Salem's
Sparkly
Lot,
things.
definitely. Salem's
Sparkly
Lot.
things.
Salem's Lot.
Boys.
Salem's Lot book.
Sparkly.
I think Roubique, we've talked about this, right? Salem's Lot book. That's
Oh yeah.
the book that made me fall in love with Stephen King. And Lost Boys movie.
Yeah. Lost Boys for sure.
Lost Boys is my favorite movie.
Oh, really?
One of them ever. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'd like to read the book.
I was gonna say I love Bram Stoker's Dracula too. I love the movie.
Yeah, the Coppola
It's just-
movie.
Yeah, it's so weird, and they used all these practical effects, and it's, I don't know, visually, it's such a cool movie.
Yeah. I was totally obsessed with the Bram Stoker's Dracula trailer when I was a kid. I wasn't allowed to watch the movie, but my mom had some VHS tape that had the trailer at the beginning, and I just watched it over and over and over. And over. It's an intense trailer.
I remember even like just the cover, like walking through Blockbuster as a kid and like through the horror section, always seeing that cover with like, you know, the stone type gargoyle thing, and like Dracula written in that font. It's great. Yeah, I love that movie. But yeah, Lost Boys for sure. That's my wife's favorite movie is Lost Boys. One I haven't seen just because it's been out of print, but I heard is coming to Shudder. I think in next week or something, is Near Dark, which came out the same year as Lost Boys, and I've always wanted to see that.
So good.
So stoked.
That's a good one.
I want to read Lost Boys, but it's not easy to get your hands on a physical copy of
No.
that book. It's kind of out of my price range. I'm not rich. I need to be Oprah rich for that, you know?
Those movie novelizations are crazy hard to get a hold of.
Yes.
Yeah. Nikki, can I actually ask a question here? Can I like flip the script a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Chaney just dropped. I don't know if it's your favorite of all time, but I'd love to know your favorite horror movies of all time. Everyone in this room right now.
Oh,
Too many favorites. Too many favorites to name.
You gotta choose one, man. I'm putting you on the spot. You gotta choose one.
I've got one.
Nikki, you're included in this.
Kill River, because it needs to be adapted into a slasher film.
It really does.
Boom. Netflix.
If I had to choose one, oh man, that's hard.
You mean you guys don't have like a list written down somewhere?
Oh, I have
there's like 100 movies on that list.
Right.
I think my favorite. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off, Cameron.
No, you're okay. You go for it. I'm still thinking.
I think my favorite horror movie is The Shining, and like I'm a huge Stanley Kubrick fan, and I've probably seen that movie maybe more than any other movie at this point. I love it. It's one of those ones that I put on in the background when I'm writing.
Yeah,
that's probably all time. But there's a lot of like modern ones, like not modern, I guess, more recent ones that I really really like, and like three that always stand out that I always like to bring up. I think It Follows is a masterpiece. The Invitation is really really good, and then Green Room is like, it's so intense, so suspenseful, and I don't know that, like, I don't know, you know, we get in that conversation of people saying is it a thriller or you know suspense or whatever. Is it horror? I think it's all horror, right? That one is, I think that one is one of the best like recent horror films.
I didn't get the It Follows thing, man. I watched it. I didn't get it. Like I didn't love it. I don't know what it was. I watched it and it was cool. It was fine. But a lot of people like swore by it and they loved it. And I don't know what it was. I just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I love that. And Get Out too. Like that one is.
Get Out was really cool. Yeah.
I would say I said The Lost Boys is my favorite movie. It's one of my favorite movies. I'd say if I had to choose a favorite horror film, it is Halloween, the original, just because that's the one that I don't just watch it every year for Halloween. I'll watch it 3 or 4 times a year. I'll watch it throughout the year. I love that movie, man. It's so good. It's cliche to say, but it's just my favorite.
That's my pick too, Chaney.
Yeah.
H78 is my favorite movie of all time.
Totally.
So I'm with you.
I'd probably say I don't know. I mean, I love my slasher movies. I love Sleepaway Camp. I know it's super cheesy, but that movie is just so much fun, and it's just such a cool like slice of life in the '80s. And I love the shorts and the accents and like, and I like the story behind the movie is really interesting too, because like Robert Hiltzik, actually, he who wrote it and directed it. He actually filmed it at this real summer camp that he went to when he was a kid. And I've been there. I drove through upstate New York, and I drove around the Summit Lake where they filmed it. And I don't know, that movie just inspires me. It's super cheesy, but I just love it. I could watch it every day. I also love like Creep Show. I think Creep Show is amazing, just the way it's like the lighting and the cool synthy music and the Child's Play, the first 3 Child's Play movies, the Chucky trilogy. Oh my God. I grew up watching those, and I love those movies. Especially
Nick?
2.
Yeah, I see your poster, man.
Yeah.
I got a sense, yeah. Nick, are you big into the horror movie or not as much as the book?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't get to watch enough movies. By the time I put my kids to bed and try to sit down, the second I sit down, that they start to come out. I would say shame on me, but I just watched The Shining for the first time a couple months ago. I haven't read the book yet. I have the book on my TBR to read. Really like that one. I don't know. There's a lot of them. You guys never mentioned Leprechaun. I mean, come on. Let's talk
I
about
love
cheesy horror. Cheesy horror. We need to get that.
I actually watched a couple of days ago. I watched that Leprechaun in the Hood, and it was straight up awesome. Like I loved that movie so much.
What I usually try to do is around that Halloween season, go and buy like every one of the movies in a certain, like all the Halloween movies, all the Leprechaun movies, and try to watch them all around that time. But it just never happens. I've always got my nose in a book, or I'm trying to deal with kids.
This past St. Patrick's Day, I watched all 8 Leprechaun movies.
Yes,
in one day.
I saw that video. Yeah, you were talking about those.
Nice, Chaney.
My brain melted out of my ears.
Did you watch Willow after?
I should have. I didn't, but I should have. That would have been a great way to follow it up. I think I was too exhausted by then. I was ready to go to bed. But yeah, Warwick Davis, man.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, what horror movie do you think is overrated?
Yeah,
Spooky.
I've been thinking about it. It gives me anxiety, but then I was like, oh wait, no, I know exactly which one. And I think it's Paranormal Activity. I didn't find it to be at all scary. I thought the Blair Witch Project was a lot more effective. By that movie,
I think the only one that got me. Sorry.
No, go, Nikki, go.
I think the only one that got me was, I don't remember which one it was, but it was when it was with the toddler, and the toddler actually got like taken out of the crib and everything, was wandering around the house, and the parents had been locked out. I was like, no. It's probably the only one that bothered me.
So I have a good one for this, but I might catch some flack for this, so please don't hate me. I feel like this has been great. Please, people, don't hate me. I am not a big Hellraiser fan. So for whatever reason, I'm not into the Hellraiser series. I've watched them all. And I just don't love them. I know it's definitely unnerving, and there's definitely the gore aspect of it is a little, it's funky and it makes you uncomfortable. But I am not a big fan of the Hellraiser series. You guys know that I love horror art. I have so many posters, and my favorite artist, Stephen Holliday, did he does a series called Horrors and Heroines. He does like all these cool horror baddies, and he has they're 12 by 36 prints, and they're like really tall and awesome. And the only one I didn't get was Pinhead, because I'm just not a big Hellraiser person. I just don't love it. Of course, I have the movies, and I'll watch them every once in a while, but I don't know, it's something to do it for me.
Anyone else for overrated?
Got my pitch over here, my torch coming for you.
I was gonna say, are you a big fan, Chaney?
I like the Hellraiser movie.
Okay.
I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm like a mega fan, but I do watch them pretty frequently. I'd say I watch them like once a year.
Yeah.
Especially the first one. I really do love the first movie.
Yeah.
But I won't knock you.
Yeah, it's whatever. I don't know. I mean, people love it, man. You're not the only one, you know. I don't
Unpopular
dislike
opinion.
it. Right. It's not, I don't dislike it. Yeah. It was never ever like a top movie for me. And people love it. Like, yeah, I think you know what I'm trying to say. It wasn't my favorite.
Cool.
I do love Hocus Pocus. That scores me points.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
You have to love Hocus Pocus.
I know, right. Sure. Also, I don't know how underrated it is, but another one of my favorites of all time is Cabin in the Woods. You guys have.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
It's like Halloween '78, Scream, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Hocus Pocus, Cabin in the Woods. That's like my list right there.
Yeah, Scream's good. Yeah.
Sorry, Roubique, continue. Sorry.
Oh, what was the question?
I go on tangents. I'm sorry.
For underrated horror movies.
Are we doing overrated horror movies or under?
Oh, overrated. I went off on a tangent and totally went off topic.
You know, I'm not a big fan of the new It. Like, everyone loves the new It, and I love the book. I'm obsessed with the book. That's my favorite book of all time. I listen to the audiobook every year. And the new movie just didn't really even try to follow that story. It just felt like, to me, it just felt like they were just trying to be more like a Stranger Things copy than trying to actually do it. And yeah, I did not care for that. And everyone, when the trailers came out, because everyone knows I love it, they were like, "Oh, dude, check out the trailer." And I was just like, oh boy, here we go. I hated how they updated the time period. I just hated all the changes they made to the story, and I don't know. Everything about it, just ugh.
Okay, one last question, then I'm going to let you guys go, because I know you guys, it's all later, or for most of you, it's later. Some of you? I can't remember who's in what time zone.
It's almost 10 for me, but I'm cool.
Yeah,
we can go 10. As long as you want.
Cool, man. We're hanging. We're having a good time. Horror hunks.
I'm on the West Coast, so it's the earliest for me right now.
I feel like I need to put like a face of some other male up here to like fit in with the horror hunks here. So just give me a second here.
What is this, Nikki? What do we got here? She's
we'll
scheming over there. There it is.
The ultimate horror hunk.
Wait, we'll do this first, and then maybe it could no, it won't go right over my face. Maybe if I do that. There you go.
Nikki, where'd you go?
Oh, sorry. How about underrated horror authors? It can be indie too. I like that.
And if we were doing the show later, maybe I would probably say Cameron Chaney and Robbie as well. But I think Cameron Roubique is way underrated, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I'd start there.
Yeah.
And at this point, Sodergren probably thinks I'm a creepy stalker with as much as I promote stuff on social media. But I think Dane Sodergren is like insanely underrated. Like the first couple pages I read of Dead Girl Blues, I was like, this guy could be like Big Five published. I think. I think his work is incredible. I think Kenzie Jennings, who wrote Red Station, one of the splatter westerns. A novella. I don't know if you guys have read that one, but that one is insanely good. And the other little bit bigger name, S. Craig Zoller. He wrote Rates of the Broken Land, and he's done some films at this point as well. I think that guy's a phenomenal writer, and is way underrated.
He does stuff for Fango, right? For Fangoria.
What's that?
I think he writes some stuff for Fangoria, right?
Yeah, I think some of his films. I think he's done 3 films. Some of his stuff was put out by maybe in partnership with Fangoria and stuff like that. Yeah, like he wrote Bone Tomahawk, and common films. But Rates of the Broken Land, that one's it's like a horror western. I wouldn't say it's a splatter western like that series that's out by Death Said, but it's definitely horror. So.
Yeah,
else?
I'm gonna say, in addition to all these amazing authors here, definitely underrated because they're phenomenal. I love the Sodergren pick, but I know he does have a following. Tim Meyer is who I'm crushing on so hard. Again, I know he's a published author, and he has a lot of books out, so a lot of people know who he is. But he is freaking phenomenal, and even reading *Malignant Summer* now, he's just amazing. But just giving a shout out to those guys. My actual pick here, and Chaney, you're gonna like this one, is J.H. Reynolds. His Monster Street series is so freaking awesome, and I feel like Chaney, you mentioned it in your video, but I just feel like not enough people are reading his books, man. That series is awesome. It's so much fun. I had a chance back in September he came to visit one of my classrooms, and they did a whole Q&A with him, and he's the coolest dude. I don't know if you guys follow him on social media, but like he's very festive with his family, and they get super into like the holiday spirits, and he's a great dude, and like his series, the Monster Street series, is just so much fun. Writing, regardless, whatever it is, it's just so much fun, and his idea for the Halloweeners is so original and so cool. And everyone should be, if you enjoy horror books, if you enjoy fiction, middle grade fiction, not enough people are reading that series. So I'm going J.H. Reynolds for sure.
Yeah, man, I totally agree. And I read books and like, these are really good. And like, they're middle grade books, but they're pretty dark and pretty grim. And like, there are some that really drew an emotion out of me too. Like, I cried a little bit at the end of Carnival, which is kind of weird to say, but they're great books. He's a great writer, and he totally captures that feeling of being a kid at Halloween time. It made me feel like I was a kid at Halloween again, and I feel bad when I see like that not more people are reading them, and I don't understand it. He's published with Harper. That's like he should be doing pretty well. I really hope that they come back for more books, that they'll give them an extended deal or book deal or whatever needs to happen. Also, totally agree about Sodergren. I was actually on a podcast with him a couple months ago, and I was just praising him, and he was like, stop it, I can't handle it. But yeah, that guy could totally like be traditional because he can write his ass off. That guy can really write. And then, of course, Roubique. Hands down, like you deserve a whole lot more, man. And I need some movies. I need a Kill River movie.
Oh, hell yes. Yes.
I want a Disco Death Trap movie. That's the one I love. That one. That's my favorite.
We were talking about
haven't read Death Trap yet, so don't ruin anything.
we were talking about that a lot. Damien and I were talking about that a lot when he was out here, and he actually came to Waterworld, which is the Thrill River Park, and I was showing him around all the rides, and I'm like, this is the pyramid, and this is the Raging Rivers, and this is this, and the hotel he was staying at was right across the highway from the skating rink from Disco Death Trap, so I kind of got to show him around a lot of stuff, but yeah, I don't know, movies are hard, man. I don't know, like movies are crazy.
Netflix.
But in terms of underrated, I mean, I love all of your guys' books. I've read all your books, and I think you guys are amazing. Like, you guys definitely need to get more out there because like it's, and all you guys only have like one book, and I'm like, But also, I would say, I love David Sodergren's books. They're amazing. I've read all of his except for the Navajo Nightmare. I haven't read that one yet. And then he just announced a new one this morning. I think I saw that. What was it called? I don't know. There was a girl with like on a beach or something on the cover. But anyway, I have to get that. Yeah, he put that out like this morning.
I'm looking it up. I'm excited.
And I would say also Regina St. Clair. She goes by R. St. Clair. Her books are, if you ever read any of her books, they're amazing. And I'm always, she put those, the Served Cold and the Local Haunts anthologies together. But her books that she writes are awesome. She wrote a slasher book called Unmasked, and it's awesome. It has kind of a weird April Fool's Day, like if Madonna were an April Fool's Day. Like it's got a kind of a weird vibe, but it's so good. And like I read a couple of her books. I read like one of her novellas too, and yeah, and her short stories are really good too. But yeah, Regina St. Clair, man, she's awesome, and not enough people read her stuff. Also, I would say Sergio Gomez. Sergio Gomez is awesome. His Camp Slaughter and what was the other one? The Toy Maker.
Yeah,
Toy Maker's really.
Dude, I love Sergio Gomez.
Yeah, Sergio Gomez, man, is awesome. I can't wait for his Halloween Slaughter coming out. That's gonna be so good.
Yeah,
he's also just a really cool dude. If you guys ever talked to him, we were talking about Dark Treasures. He was just so humble and like he's just such an awesome dude.
I have another one. This is Devil's Night by Curtis Lawson. He has quite a few books out. Yeah, this was my first one by him. This book blew my socks off, man. It's so good. Yeah, he has quite a few out, and I'm like, I'm ready. I want to read everything he's written. This was just amazing, and the book itself is like limited edition with all these really cool illustrations inside.
Yeah, we can rub it in. Just rub it in.
They haven't sold out yet either. There's still some in stock. So like,
he reached out to me and he asked me if I would review that one, and I was like, yes, please. And he's like, can I send you a physical copy? And I looked it up, and I'm like, holy hell, absolutely. And I'm like, but I live in Canada. I don't know if the publisher is going to want to pay the shipping. And he messaged me back. He's like, I could send you an e-copy. And I was like, no. So yeah, I do have the e-copy. I haven't read it yet, but yeah, I did. I missed out because they didn't want to send it my way. Yeah, there's a lot of authors, especially indie, small press, underrated, need to be noticed and need to have more readers and more people buying their books and maxing out their bank accounts, credit cards, their whole entire paychecks. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. It's what I do every week. I think I just spent like $95 on books the other day. You know, just keep spending the money.
I think we're all with you, Nikki. Like, I mean, I have like 3 book subs every month. I have like, it's just nonstop. It doesn't matter. I mean, look at the library, man. Like, come on, let's be real here.
It's a true addiction, I tell you. And it's so neat when you have authors that are also supporting other authors and reading other authors' works and reviewing them and sharing and getting the word out. I've had David on my list forever. Haven't read any of it yet, and Regina as well. I've had her on my list forever. But you guys understand, you have your TBR and then you have your wish list. That's even longer than the TBR. So it's that never-ending, slowly taking over the world list that will eventually crush me. But that's okay. We're good. Keep doing it, you guys. Keep putting out. We are hitting the 2-hour mark now, and it looks like questions have died down. So I will let you guys go to have the rest of your evenings. Go read, go write, go to sleep, whatever you got to go do. Go back to the fatherhood life. I know sometimes this is a nice break from the kids.
LJ, I have to ask you, what time is it by you? There's like sunlight in the back.
Yeah, I'm on the West Coast, so it's 6:56.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an hour behind me.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
California time.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, thank you guys so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Thanks so much for having us.
It was awesome.
It's so fun.
I didn't even know Josh was here. Hi, Josh.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, Josh.
I didn't even know he was here. He was sneaky, that sneaky guy.
I thought I heard some scratches at some point, but I wasn't sure. I guess it was just Josh lurking in the background.
That was a good pun.
You like
scratching
that?
Scratching it all the doors. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming on. It means so much. I'm always fangirling over your guys' stuff. Chaney, you're always, like I said, deer in headlights when you pop in. Even when you leave a comment on my channel, I'm just like, holy hell, he's watching me.
Of course.
Roubique, we need more of your stuff out. We need a film adaptation of Kill River. All of them. I'll just say all of them. Not even just Kill River, just all of them. Disco everything. Yeah, actually, we could probably do film adaptations of all of your guys' stuff. I mean, it might be a little bit hard for Autumn Crow, but maybe they could do like a TV series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
A show for each story.
Creep show style.
Like Blumhouse or something needs to do a Hulu show like they've been doing. So that's the dream.
Yeah. No, I would
I
definitely
better
be there
not
for
see
it.
like rumors on social media when I come back like, oh, Blumhouse is making an Autumn Crow series, because they're not. But
We'll start that as soon
That's how it starts.
yeah, don't
Start rumors.
Ooh. I won't do anything. What are you talking about? I will not. Anyways, thank you guys so much for coming. Everyone that came to the chat, thank you for coming, asking questions, and blowing up the chat, making it hard for me to be able to keep up. And yeah, we'll have to do this again sometime.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Thank you, everyone. Roubique, LJ, Chaney, you guys are awesome. Thank you guys for being you guys, and keep doing what you're doing. You guys are all awesome.
You as well.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
You too, man.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you,
Have a good
Nikki.
rest of your
Yeah,
weekend.
thanks, Nikki.
Thank you guys. Thanks, Nikki.
See ya.